This is Gregory Ramirez, and this tutorial relates to the basic structure of an essay. And so with this tutorial, the purpose is intended to help you not only to understand a little bit better the essays that you read, but also the essays that you write. And first off, if we could go ahead and talk about the different types of organization that generally exist. First off, as listed, is chronological. That would relate in terms of time order. And often for narrative, it's given in the sequence. For example, if someone were recounting their first day of college, he or she might go ahead and start with that person would start with whatever the earliest event is of that first day to whatever the last event to go ahead and share would be for that specific day right there. In terms of spatial right there, as it's said and listed as with the second bullet there, it would be of course, often used in description. Depending on what's being described, you would maybe go from top to bottom, or maybe bottom to top, perhaps left to right or right to left if you're describing, for example, a room. Top to bottom could be a building, perhaps that's being described. And then finally, with emphatic, with our third bullet there, that would be working towards, or a progressive, if you will, approach to the ideas that are brought up, working towards the strongest or whatever the most important ideas are, and saving that closer to the end of the essay right there. And again, that's often used for argumentative essays. Now, a structure you might be familiar with is the concept of the 5-paragraph essay, in that you have a paragraph devoted to the introduction. So you would go ahead and write that. And then there would be a paragraph, in fact, actually paragraphs 2 to 4 right here that are listed as part of this outline. Each of those are supporting details, and whatever is in the 2, 3, and 4 would be considered part of the body of that. And so with that said, you would have the conclusion. You would have a concluding paragraph wrapping up the ideas. Now, as you're in college, of course, you're expected to move beyond the 5-paragraph essay. But whenever you learn that, and whoever taught you that, at least taught you the basic structure of introduction, body, conclusion, at least to go ahead and get you knowing that, of course, how it should be structured, the setup, and the fact that supporting details and supporting ideas belong in what would be considered the body of that specific essay there. Now, for the introductory paragraph, I would encourage you to try to follow the model if you're writing for yourself that I was taught as a student, and I turn around and encourage students to do, that being the funnel. It's sometimes referred to either as the funnel or the inverted pyramid. If you look at the diagram towards the bottom of the screen, you'll see for yourself how basically what is represented with general would be the first one or couple of sentences starting out in general terms, what can be expected from the essay itself. And then as you go further into the introductory paragraph, you get, as the word says, more specific, and you give more specific details, and do so with at least a couple of sentences, narrowing the focus. And you can see the further you go into the paragraph, as illustrated with this diagram, you go ahead and deliver the thesis statement no later than the last sentence of that introductory paragraph there. Now, for each of the body paragraphs, as was illustrated with 2 to 4 from the earlier in the presentation, you'll see that basically it is a right side up, or it's the opposite approach of what we took for the introductory paragraph right here. You'll see that the topic sentence states specifically what you are going to address within the paragraph itself, and then of course what follows is supporting details. These might be examples, citations, data and statistics that are brought up, to go ahead and, of course, elaborate and to go ahead and give further details to what claims you're making or what ideas you are delivering as a writer. For the concluding paragraph itself, you can take a couple of approaches here. You can treat it as a similar structure as a body paragraph right here, in which you deliver whatever the thesis statement is. You might restate it or repeat it in certain ways, or rephrase it, and then kind of deliver it out with main ideas. So going from a specific to general structure, or as it shows on the right side of the screen right there, giving some main ideas and delivering a final thought, so going from general to specific. But certainly, either way, you do want to connect the concluding paragraph to what you wrote in your introductory paragraph, and you do not want to bring up any new ideas in the concluding paragraph. I should also point out that while there's other tutorials to elaborate on how to go ahead and write specifically these elements right here, introductory paragraph, even a concluding paragraph, or even writing supporting details, I should just kind of point out right here, however, that with what you have, just don't be too caught up in terms of trying to go in a sequence that would be chronological as a writer. So in other words, do not feel as though you have to start with the introductory paragraph first, then write every single body paragraph in the proper order, and then write your concluding paragraph. You're more than welcome to go and start as a writer with the concluding paragraph if need, or with the concluding paragraph if need be, or a body paragraph, and then saving the introductory paragraph for the final thing that you do. In fact, that's something I've done as a writer myself, is write the entire essay with the exception of the introductory paragraph and leaving that last. Now, if there are any questions, please feel free to contact me. You're free to contact me at gregory.ramirez@sccd.edu, or at my office phone, which is area code 559-675-4832.